You must be, first and foremost, among the millions of builders of a communist society in whose ranks every young man and woman should be. You will not build a communist society unless you enlist the mass of young workers and peasants in the work of building communism.
I'm Madeline, and I'm out here with SYNA and CPI, and we're talking to people about things like the food shortage that we're going to be seeing this summer due to the sanctions that are being placed on Russia. Russia and Ukraine both are large producers of wheat. Russia's a really large fertilizer producer, and that's something that a lot of people don't really realize, and so we are getting that word out. Also talking about NATO and the lies that were being fed about Ukraine and about NATO, and just debunking that for people.
I'm Max Reed. I'm the organizer with Students in Youth for a New America. This is my comrade Jack Hannum. He's the organizer for the Broad Run branch of Students in Youth for a New America, and we're out here spreading the message of scientific socialism. Letting people know that, this is the way forward we're the only high schoolers here, I believe.
It's insane that we're proposing $33 billion to be sent to Ukraine rather than being sent to solving problems that we have here. Like, we have children that are starving, we have people who are unemployed.
I keep feeling like I'm reading the same headline over and over. It's like every week President Biden approves another $1 billion for Ukraine. And then I check the dates, and it's just every week is a new $1 billion for Ukraine. And I just don't see how it connects to helping Americans' lives better.
We have got this new disinformation czar who's basically, her job is to now help disinform the public. This is a conflict that's been going on for 8 years, since 2014 when we couped the Ukrainian government and basically helped install these fanatically anti-Russian Nazis who collaborated with the Nazis during World War II. There's an entire generation of children in the Donbass who have had to grow up in basements because of the constant bombardment that's killed 16,000 people. So Russia's really trying to end this conflict at this point.
I mean, Russia's I think it's one of the biggest exporters of wheat in the whole world. Same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine's also a major exporter. And the conflict, which the Azovite Nazis started in Ukraine, it's going to wreak devastation on Africa, Asia, and even coming here.
There is so much work that needs to be done. Like, on the way here, I was driving and I had to dodge so many potholes. Why don't we create more jobs on filling those potholes? Or better yet, why don't we join the Belt and Road Initiative and we partner with China to build high-speed railways so that it would only take me not even half as much time to get to DC.
It seems like a vanity project for billionaires, people who support NATO and are totally out of touch with people who live in the land of America. So I don't support whatsoever.
They said in 2008 that Georgia and Ukraine joining NATO would be a red line. He's been saying it for years. Putin expired every diplomatic option before he started this counteroffensive. And so people really need to get the facts about what's motivating this conflict.
Filled up my gas today. The local gas station near me was just under $4, which I was super happy about a couple weeks ago, and now it's back up to $4.25. And you just have these smug liberals telling you that that's what you have to do as a working person to support our war in Ukraine. And I do think of it as being essentially a proxy war between America. It's not aid. It's rocket launchers, and we're giving them to Nazis. So the rising costs really do hurt.
The infiltration of pro-war propaganda is really just seeping into all aspects of high school, and it's really scary. And that's what SYNA's here to combat.
We are not radicals. We are revolutionaries. Right. We are not rebels without a cause. We are proletarians with a vision.
Sending $33 billion for war. My question is, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get the money for that? I'm really concerned about this spending on the military when we've got tents all over the place in Washington, D.C. We've got our infrastructure falling apart. We've got a student loan crisis. We've got a healthcare crisis. We've got all sorts of problems, and we could better be using that money. $20 billion could theoretically solve the homelessness crisis in this country. So we should really take care of our own problems instead of giving $33 billion more dollars to this Nazi regime to try to help them start World War III.
Particularly in high school, there's been a lot of propagandizing in favor of imperialism and in favor of NATO and the Ukrainian regime. And we're just trying to reverse that trend to tell people the truth. A lot of people are getting sick of the constant war narrative. Okay, what's going on? Why are there Ukrainian flags everywhere? So, you know, if people are willing to question things, they're usually more open.
A lot of times, and what I've seen, especially at my school, is people start to question it on their own once you provide them with what's actually happening and why NATO is the real aggressor in this situation.
We are not satisfied with selective concessions from the ruling class. Only full workers' liberation for workers in this country and internationally.
Yeah!
Stop NATO's war machine!
Stop NATO's war machine!
Stop NATO's war machine! Stop NATO's war machine! Stop NATO's war machine! Declare Russia! I see a Nazi! I see a Nazi!
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Bandera rights have got to get...
Here in a small town of Evansville, Indiana, as the Center for Political Innovation's Youth Wing, the Students and Youth for a New America, which was established in 2016, provides free meals to the community in honor of May Day.
Average income, the average GDP or income per capita here is about $27,000 a year. Not very well off.
Our poverty line is
About 20%.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Wow.
And you know, in the past 2 years or a fiscal year, like their rates have gone up 270 some odd percent, and
People are already in hard times here. Inflation is hitting hard. Me and my mom, we can barely afford to get meat for the week. And now we're getting hit with giant energy bills.
Right.
I mean, it's screwing over people, and we're lucky enough to where we get Social Security because my dad passed away. People who don't have that, what are they going to do?
Right.
They're gonna die of heat exhaustion in their houses or freeze to death in the winter.
Center for Political Innovations, I'm sure almost all of you are familiar with, is a populist and a socialist-minded think tank that was established to promote the 21st century socialism for America, and its youth wing of SYNA is specifically targeted to help bring high school and college students in to the political game, teach them important organizing skills, and how to put on events just like this that you're seeing behind me.
Instead of Biden sending $33 billion to Ukraine, we should send that here and fix all the problems here. I'm Nick, I'm with Center for Political Innovation, and I'm here today because today's May Day, and today with Center for Political Innovation we have a message of class struggle, the working class of this country fighting against the monopolist capitalists, and on May Day it's very important to push anti-imperialism. Russia is not our enemy is NATO and the ruling class, NATO and Wall Street, and the media is lying about the situation in Russia and Ukraine.
Hi, I'm Don. I'm here because it's May Day and it's a tradition to come out and socialize with other workers on May Day, and it's actually a tradition to struggle, and we want to bring our program to the working class.
And what is the program that you are bringing today?
It's in short, it's the 4-point program of the Center for Political Innovation.
Is that the flyer over there?
Yes, it is. There, 4 points are labeled right here, and they're you can see them, read about it in more detail right on here. The May Day martyrs were fighting for an 8-hour day in the 1880s, and they were framed up. There was a protest, and they were framed up for the killing of a cop that someone did, but we don't know who. No one really knows who did it. Eight people were framed and went to prison for it, and I think 3 of them were executed.
I'm totally against her.
Yeah, we are
locked
too.
up a lot of people.
Yeah, she's terrible. And Biden too, in the Biden crime bill. Yeah. People want to act like she's good and stuff, but no, she's horrible.
When she told me, when she said on that television, she said, when I was in college, I smoked with Tupac and Biggie.
But Tupac came out in the 90s.
Yeah,
and she came from 86. She's 55 years old. You ain't got to do the math.
It's completely phony, and her actual background is the prison industrial complex.
And she had an affair with the mayor.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I don't know about that.
We know she had someone on death row. She hid the evidence to keep them from freeing Kevin Cooper in death row prison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She hid the evidence. She had to be subpoenaed to turn the evidence back.
Yeah, she had
That's foul. She wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah. But it's just that to me, it's just that you put those type of people up there and try. It's
coming because due to the sanctions on Russia, Africa is going to be choked to fertilizers. Well, I'm not saying everything Russia did is great, right? But I'm saying they're in the right for being there. They're actually stopping a slaughter. The people in the eastern Donbass were being slaughtered. They were going to start another offensive, and right after, they knew sometime in March there was going to be another offensive against the people in the Donbass. So February 25, they moved in and said, no, there isn't.
So I have a question. What does that have to do with a fusion city?
Well, Fusion City is one of our plans for America. It's one of the good things. We're finding alternatives to petroleum energy. We need to find, fusion energy is instead of fission, the sanctions are going to prevent fertilizer from reaching the places it needs to be. Notably, most of the continent of Africa and Brazil get their fertilizers from Russia. Without that, they're not going to have good crops. And meanwhile, Russia and Ukraine are both big food producers. They aren't going to have good crops either. So the world is going to be short on food. There are already, I think, a couple million people suffering from starvation right now as we speak, and it's going to increase. It's a big problem.
If it ends the Soviet Union, I would make deals with a lot of people that are unsafe.
So you're okay with Al-Qaeda and you're okay with 9/11, just so long as it takes out the Soviet Union?
No, but I would be happy to work to take down the Soviet Union. Thank God we did.
So it was worth it to you?
Still, in the balance, I have to say yes.
Okay. Well, that's my point.
That's
right
how
there.
evil the Soviet Union.
You proved my point.
No, that's how evil the Soviet Union.
No, I think that's how evil neocons are, because they don't care how many Americans are killed, how many Afghans are killed, how many people are killed, just so long as their ideological goals are carried out. That's okay. You can agree with Biden, you can agree with the Democrats.
What do you think of Communist China?
I think China is doing well.
Really?
But look, we don't need to keep wasting time on this.
By the way, the Communist China, their GDP is equal to about ours, about 22 trillion, 23. They have 4 times the people, more than 4 times. We have 303. They have
China started from a very low point, and it's the fastest growing economy now. And the U.S. has more people in prison than China. The U.S. is so free.
Stalin started the war with Hitler as his ally.
He did everything to try and prevent the war from happening.
How is supplying the Nazi war machine with massive amounts?
He went to the British and the French to try and make an anti-Nazi pact. The British refused and did everything they could to goad on Hitler to make him go east. They had all kinds of treaties with Hitler. They built Hitler's navy. They had joint treaties with the German navy. Yeah, you can look up the British. You can look up the British and German navy treaty.
The treaties limited the size of those navies.
Well, you can make excuses. You can make excuses for that.
The treaties weren't to grow the navy; it was to limit it.
Well, then how come they ended up building up the British Navy?
Oh, at some point, Hitler became so strong that he said, I don't care about the Treaty of Versailles. What are you going to do to stop me?
Well, the Soviets, from the beginning, before they made the non-aggression pact with Germany, which again was not an alliance, it was a non-aggression pact, they did everything to try and ally with France and Britain to stop a constructive socialism that is really the true essence of socialism and not this synthetic left CIA leftism, which has been prevalent in this country for a decade.
Well, the city-building tendency of socialism is socialism. Basically, socialism is a city-building tendency. It's using the wealth of society to benefit the workers, to benefit all of society, rather than to make a couple people rich. A tiny handful of capitalists.
The city building tendency is the essence of socialism because it fights for working families and it helps people unlock their potential as human beings.
Promote socialism in a way that it's clear that socialism is to the benefit of this country. It's not about tearing down this country. It's about building up this country, and socialism would bring unprecedented prosperity to this country that has never been seen before. It's absolutely absurd that the Biden administration is talking about sending $33 billion to Ukraine when this country is falling apart. It's absolutely criminal. That's our money as the working class being spent to benefit the military-industrial complex and oil companies and bankers.
Every single, because if you're talking about what was private, the life.
and we got people sleeping in the street, and they're so worried about Ukrainians. My people have been in camps for 11 years now in Syria. Nobody talks about them. Why? Because they're not in this color? Good luck to you.